When I first created this channel, the intention was always to stick primarily to covering films, more specifically new releases that were going into theaters, not straight to streaming. And sitting here today, I do intend to keep it that way, but every so often I come across something either on cable TV or on a streaming service, which is where most shows are releasing their content nowadays. I come across something that is so enticing that I'm like, oh, I really want to talk about this on video. Today, I finally decided to take that leap and talk about one of my favorite shows that I've seen in the last couple of years, and that is Severance. The first season dropped on Apple TV Plus back in 2022, I believe, so it's been 3 years. I did actually watch that first season shortly after it premiered, although I didn't talk about it on the channel then. And I think it's worth pointing out that I am notorious for starting shows, watching the first couple of episodes, and then kind of fizzling out of interest with them and never actually finishing them. I've done it probably a dozen times over the last couple of years. So when that doesn't happen, when I watch the first couple of episodes of a show and I wind up finishing it or even binging it over the course of like a week, that means something, I think. And that's what happened to me with Severance. I binged the entire first season over the course of like 2 weeks and was very disappointed to learn that there wasn't a planned season 2 coming out anytime soon. Here we are. In 2025, it is finally here. This is going to be less of a review and more of just a platform for me to share my scattered thoughts, theories, and interpretations of what we saw in at least this first episode of the season, because that's all we have so far. They are releasing episodes by the week. And this video will be different from my film reviews in that there will be spoilers for both the first season and the first episode of the second season. So if you haven't seen Severance, I'm going to tell you right now, just drop what you're doing and go watch it, because it is truly one of the best shows on TV right now. That's my quick pitch about it for those of you who haven't seen it. It's about a team of office workers who have had their memories surgically split between their work and personal lives, so they basically have two distinct forms of consciousness living inside of them. The show primarily focuses on their work lives, or innies as they're called, as they struggle to function under the ambiguous leadership of their employers and try to find some form of happiness or peace with the way their lives work. All right, I'm going to dive into the episode now. So that was your last warning if you haven't seen the show. The opening scene, I really like it. I like how it mirrors the first episode of the entire series, but instead of Mark slowly and calmly walking through the ominous white hallways, he is instead sprinting frantically. After all, the last time we saw him, the OTC was active and he was living the life of his Audi and frantically trying to alert his sister that he had just learned that his wife is not only alive still, but she works for Lumen.
Okay, so we're not in trouble?
I don't think so. Milchick said we're famous.
All of us equally, or one of us is like the star?
Immediately, there's this sense of fear for his character and all of the characters, really, because you have no idea how much time has passed, but he is back in the office, which means, you know, the switch has been flipped and we're looking at the innie now. You have no idea how his superiors are going to handle it. We're told by Milchick that it's been 5 months, but I have my reservations about that for a couple of reasons. First of all, Milchick is just now moving into Miss Cobell's office and taking over her position in the company. Why is he just now doing that if it's actually been 5 months? The other reason is that when he logs into the computer in this office, it still has her name on it. I don't know. It's just kind of suspicious that they would show us those details. And I don't know if it matters that it hasn't been 5 months. Like why would he want to trick the employees into thinking it's been 5 months? Maybe we'll learn more of that as the season plays out. I imagine sometime in the near future, maybe the second episode, we'll see what happened after Dylan released the switches, and we'll see what happened from the perspective of Mark's Audi when he regains possession of the body. How much time has actually passed? Did Lumen attempt to explain to Mark what happened and why he essentially, because I'm sure from his Audi's perspective, it'll be like he suddenly just blacked out when he was living his normal personal life. This episode raises a lot of other questions too, such as how did they convince Mark to continue working for them? Who was the suspicious man in the suit behind Mark at the beginning of the episode? Who the hell is Miss Huang and why is she a child?
Because of when I was born.
Yeah, no shit, we know that, but there has to be some sort of reason that they would put a child in this position in the company. I don't know if there's some sort of psychological reason that it will help them to further in manipulating the MDR employees. It's a lot of questions, a lot of intrigue. I'm sure we won't get answers to all of our questions in the next couple of episodes, but I do have faith in these writers. They've had 3 years to cook up something interesting, and I'm sure they have. There are so many weird things to talk about that I can't even list them all off. For instance, in the beginning of the episode, Mark is introduced to a new team that works in his department, and after he repeatedly rejects them, Milchick caves and brings the rest of his coworkers back, Interesting. I wonder why. I wonder if we'll see what happened to those characters' outies before they returned to Lumen. And after Milchick gets the old team back together, I don't know what I was expecting, but I did not expect the MDR employees to be touted as heroes and the face of Severance Reformed, which I have to imagine is a lie that's being told to them to manipulate them, right? I mean, it has to be. Also, I have to bring up the fact that Helly lied to the team about what she experienced when she was up top. Why would she do that? The obvious answer is that we are actually seeing her outie in the office working as a mole to keep tabs on her coworkers. I don't know, it's tough because that answer almost seems like it's a little too obvious. But why else would Milchick make it blatantly clear that the cameras and microphones have all been removed from their department? Plus, we know that Helly is one of the Egans, so it makes sense that they wouldn't want to send her back to the office severed because, she's already tried to kill herself. I feel like I've spent more time relaying my questions that I have to you guys rather than actually speculating on the answers to them. But that's what a season premiere should do. It should stimulate discussion without fully, giving you too much evidence as to one way or the other. So I'm very curious what you guys think about this season premiere. Because I don't really do these types of videos very often, I'm not sure how this one will be received. If it's well received, maybe I'll do more in the future. At the very least, I'll make another video when this season is fully released so we can talk about some of the answers to these questions that we've gotten. But this is the point in the video where I turn it to you guys to let me know what you think of this episode down in the comments. Be sure to let me know what you think is coming next and what your thoughts are and theories on some of the questions that I raised in the video. Hit that like button as well as subscribe while you're at it. If you want more content like this, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.